Go ahead and have a seat and just take a moment to get centered in this morning. We'll be working a little differently. We're going to be playing with extremities today. So hands, feet, forearms, calves, arms, legs. So just kind of a little bit different. So lift up through your chest, let your shoulders relax. Make sure your head is balanced on top of your spine. And just take a deep breath in through the nose. And a big exhale through the mouth. Just check in. So noticing every part of your body, particularly the extremities. So noticing how those parts of you that extend beyond your torso feel. And then of course paying attention to your torso, since that is what everything extends from. Start to deepen your breath using a nice, slow, controlled Ujjayi breath. And then just notice any thoughts, feelings, energy, all of the whole package. Let's bring palms together in front of the heart and take a moment to set our own personal intentions for practice today. When you're clear on your intention, take an extra deep breath in. A big exhale through the mouth. So we're actually going to start right here, just interlacing the fingers. I want you to roll your wrists and then roll them the opposite way. And then just kind of shake your hands out, make really wide spread out kind of jazz hands, and then make a fist, and then extend and spread again, and make a fist, and then shake. Excellent. And then we're going to go ahead and come on up to standing. So you guys have done some foot loosening with me before. We're going to kind of play with that right now before we get moving a little more rigorously. Shift your weight to your left foot and just kind of roll back and forth over the toes of your right foot. And make sure that you're kind of getting all of them. So sometimes you have to roll at a different angle, depends on what your toes are like. And then go ahead and just shift your weight to your right foot and do the same thing on the left. And then go ahead and just equal weight on both feet. Lift your toes up, spread them out, plant them down. Really feel them connect. Lift your heels, pardon me, and plant them. My apologies. So what we're going to do from here is shift the weight to the left foot again. I'm just going to kind of turn to the side. I want you to take your right foot behind you, point the toes so you're on the top of your right foot. You're just going to act as though you're dragging your right toes forward, but you're not really. So this is a tibialis stretch. What you should be feeling is a stretch on the front of your shin. Take one more breath here. And then just extend your right leg out in front of you. Very strongly dorsiflect the toes and the ankles. So your toes are curling towards your shin. And again, you're going to act like you're pulling your right heel towards you, but it's not really going to move. And so what you should feel is your right calf stretching. Let's go ahead and transition to the other side. Shift your weight to your right foot. Left toes are pointed behind you. So you're on the top of the foot. And you just act as though you're dragging your toes forward. You should feel this on the front of the shin. Again, tibialis stretch. And then extend left heel out in front of you, strongly dorsiflexing toes and ankle on the left foot, pulling the left heel towards you. And then we're just going to come into a nice grounded mountain pose. So you want to feel your feet connected, Your spine is extending. Your fingers are extending. You're feeling very rooted and grounded. Let's inhale, reach the arms up, stretch up. And as you exhale, fold forward, fingertips all the way down, relax your neck. We're gonna bend both knees like we do for ragdoll. Hold this for a breath. And then I'd like you to keep your left knee bent, but just begin to extend the right leg. Now you're gonna feel this down that right hamstring and maybe even into the right calf. Just take a breath. Bend your right knee again, begin to extend the left leg. It's okay if it doesn't go all the way straight. So now you're gonna feel it quite intently in your left hamstring, left calf. Come back to center. Both legs can be bent or both legs can be straight. It depends upon your body. And then we're gonna inhale and look up and lengthen. And then back down. So step back with your left leg. And just come into your lunge. Just pause here for a moment, allowing the hips to open a little bit. Notice how the hands are planted. So I like to make sure that my palms are nice and flat like they would be for downward facing dog. You may initially be on fingertips if you're a little tighter. All of these are okay. There's no right or wrong. I just want you to notice what your hands are doing. And then we're gonna go ahead and drop to the left knee. I'd like you to untuck the left toes. Go ahead and raise the arms up and overhead, tilt the pelvis back, let your hips move forward. So we're finding that stretch on the front of the left hip. Just take a couple breaths here. If you can, for just a moment, keeping the top of the foot relaxed, don't put tension in the toes. For just a moment, barely lift the left knee and kind of pull forward with your right foot, and then you can put your left knee back down. Hands on either side of the right foot, extend your right leg, and then begin to strongly flex the right ankle and toes. So just like we always do, we're trying to get into that right hamstring again, yeah? Well, once you get there, you might even want to use your hand. I sometimes like to. Really on purpose, flex the ankle and toes. This will help you get into that right calf a little bit. So interestingly enough, our calf muscles are one of the densest muscles on our body. Think about it, everything's stacked on top of them, right? And they help propel us as we walk. So the calves, they're comprised of several muscles. And they are, of course, incredibly important for us to keep happy, healthy, and balanced. From here, go ahead and just step back to plank position. We're going to hold our plank for a moment. We want the core engaged. And so earlier, when I said we were working on extremities, they do all extend from your core. Your extremities can only be as strong as your core is. So we're going to play a little bit with the feet here. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and drop down knees, chest, and chin. Untuck your toes. Go ahead and bring the feet all the way together. Push through your toes and push the top of the feet into the mat. And then just lift up halfway for a baby cobra. Lower yourself back down. And then I want you to just see if perhaps you can start to lift up and roll back over the toes for your downward facing dog. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then I usually tell you to go ahead and pedal your feet if you want to. We're going to do this on purpose this morning. So I want your palms spread nice and flat. Push those hips up and back. I want you to really strongly press your heel towards the ground as you bend your left knee, but keep pushing with your hands. You want that tailbone up and back. You should feel this in your right calf. Let's go ahead and switch, bend your right knee. Really strongly press your left heel down while you're pressing through the hands. Hips are moving up and back. Back to the center, both heels down, and then step forward with your left foot. So we're just going to hold the lunge for a moment. Again, double check what you're doing with your hands. We'll be working both ends of the extremities, so not only feet and ankles and calves, but hands and forearms. And then from here, we're going to drop the right knee down. Bring your arms up and overhead. Let the pelvis tilt. Hips are moving forward. Remember, I'd like you to untuck those right toes if you can. So you should be on the top of your right foot. So I want you to be very mindful of your foot. I've noticed sometimes in classes, I see people tighten their toes, like curl their toes before they start to lift. You want your right foot totally relaxed. All we're going to do is barely lift the right knee for just a second, pull with the left heel, and then drop the right knee back down. Hands to the mat, extend your left leg. So just taking a moment to find that hamstring stretch, and then maybe even using your hands, completely up to you. But very strongly flexing the ankle and the toes. This is dorsiflexion, where the toes curl back towards the shin. You want to really get some nice left calf stretch in. And then we're going to bend the left knee. Step forward to our standing forward bend. And just pause for a moment and be really mindful of your pelvis. These are all things we go over frequently, so I know none of this is new to you. You're trying to tip your hip bones forward onto your thighs, poke your tailbone towards the ceiling. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway and lengthen. And then back down. We're going to step back with the right foot. Nice big step back. Drop your right knee again. Untuck the toes. Now, with your hands down, just so you can kind of double check. What happens here with the foot untucked, your right foot untucked, if you lift your right knee? Not a lot of weight on it, so it's pretty easy and not too difficult to go ahead and relax that right foot. Pull with your hips. You're going to feel that tibialis stretch again, right? Front of your right shin. Put the right knee down, arms up and overhead, pelvis tilts, hips sink forward. Second opportunity to maybe lift your right knee, but allow the hips to sink. Pull with your left heel and take a couple of breaths now if you can. And if not, don't force it. If it hurts, don't do it. Let's go ahead and bring the hands and the right knee down. Extend your left leg again. Now I want you to actually come up. Slide your left foot forward just a hair. If you can, you'll reach out and grab your left toes with either or both hands. The reason I don't have a hand down is I want to make sure I'm getting full body weight on this leg. If you need to put a hand down to balance, go for it. Otherwise, really try and fully extend left leg. Pull on the foot and pull your chest forward. So you want to extend the spine, extend the left leg, and really dorsiflex this left ankle so the left calf is getting some motion. So as you're here stretching this left calf, four areas that I just want you to be aware of. The front of the shin, which we've already been stretching, tibialis. The back, which you should be feeling really strongly right now. This is your gastroc. On the inside of the calf, we have our soleus muscle, and on the outside of the calf, we have peroneus. So we're gonna kind of try and hit all of those today. Go ahead and plant your hands, step back to plank position. So remember, only do what works for you, but those of you who can do a full vinyasa, let's play with the idea of rolling over the toes in both directions. So as you exhale, you lower down into chaturanga. As you inhale, you roll over the toes into upward facing dog. And as you exhale, you roll back over the toes into downward facing dog. Just give it a shot. If it doesn't work, don't force it. So coming back into down dog calf stretches, I'd like you to just pick your left foot up off the ground and literally step or stand on your right heel. Now, palms are spread. You're pushing the hips back. This is so important. And then you're pressing gently on your right heel with your left foot. So you're getting maximum stretch through the right calf. And then we'll just switch. Left foot goes down. Your right foot is going to step or stand on your left heel. Hips press back. Right foot gently presses down. So you get maximum left calf stretch. Go ahead and put your right foot back down. Step forward with your right foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. Go ahead and drop your left knee and untuck the toes. So just like we did a moment ago, keep your hands down, lift your left knee up, but pull the hips forward a little bit. Make sure your left foot stays relaxed. You're on the top of the left foot, so you're stretching out the top of your left foot and the front of your left shin. Now we'll drop the left knee down, raise the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts and sinks forward, and then maybe you go ahead and lift that left knee up again and pull with your right heel and hold for a couple of breaths. Go ahead and bring hands and left knee down. We're going to fully extend that right leg. Go ahead and come on up. Take the right foot a tiny bit farther forward if you can. Remember, if you need to balance on a hand, go for it. But if possible, extend your body weight out over your right leg. Strongly flex your right toes and ankle and extend your spine. So again, we're trying to get in very strongly into the back of the right calf. This gastroc muscle is very strong. It's what attaches with your Achilles tendon. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to go ahead and step forward to our standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. As you exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. So I want you to turn sideways on the mat. Take a fairly wide side step. Toes point directly forward. So when our feet supinate or pronate, also called inversion or eversion, which is this lateral movement, that's how we get into stretching inner part of the calf or outer part of the calf. So in this position, if you really look down at your feet, they're kind of rolled out. In other words, big toe side of the foot's closer to your calf, right? If you were to stay here long enough and really be mindful of it, you'd start to feel it on the outside edges of your calves. Let's go ahead and hinge at the hips. Bring the hands to the mat. I want you to strongly connect big toe and little toe side of both feet. Simply bend your right knee. Keep pushing little toe side of left foot into the mat. Maybe even walk your hands towards your right foot a little. You'll start to feel a slight stretch in the outer edge of your left calf. That's your peroneal muscle.
Let's walk the hands over to the middle, straightening right leg. Really connecting the whole sole of the foot down. Bend your left knee, taking your body weight to the left, but strongly pushing through the baby toe side of your right foot. That's stretching that outer edge of your right calf, peroneus longus, peroneus brevis. Come back to the center. Take your feet another step out, and maybe even another one. In other words, come to close to your limit, and then just really connect your feet. If you continue to push through the little toe side of each foot, if you hang out here long enough, you'll start to feel the outer edges of your calves. But we're not going to be here forever. Take one more breath. And then let's just toe heel the feet in until they're about shoulder distance. I want you to slide your hands front to back underneath your feet, standing in your hands, literally standing in your hands. So your toes are touching your wrists. This is also nice for the wrists and forearms, by the way. So taking a moment here, trying to straighten the legs. If you do get your legs straight, bend the elbows. And just take a moment. So you should be getting hamstring and calf stretch. You're also getting a little bit of a wrist stretch as well, which affects your forearms. Take one more breath. Release your hands out from underneath your feet. Take a big inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, come back to the front of the mat with the feet together and the palms together. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And then exhale back down. So you can either walk or jump back to plank. And let's go ahead and play with rolling over the toes again if you can. As you exhale, you lower down and you inhale and you roll to the top of the feet. And as you exhale, you roll back. Downward facing dog. So all of this foot and calf action is actually very, very well illustrated and used in our warrior poses. So we're going to go ahead and take the right foot forward. Spin your left heel flat, and before you come up, make sure that your left foot is angled slightly in. And then come on up. So you're coming into your warrior two. Now, if you look down at your left foot, it's slightly angled towards the midline of the body. And if you're really being connected to the ground, not letting the foot collapse in, you're actually feeling that left outer calf stretch, peroneal muscles. Take one more breath here. Let's go ahead and come into easy side angle. I want you to bring your right forearm to your right thigh, your left arm up and over. Press strongly through the little toe side of your left foot. Come all the way back up, straighten your right leg. Lengthen your rib cage to the right, but just stop. So if you've got both legs straight, play with this. It can be a little precarious with balance, so be mindful. Can you lift all of your toes here and still press through the outside edge of your left foot? Continue lengthening. Go ahead and plant the toes, right hand down, left hand up, full on triangle pose. Come back up, bending your right knee and reverse your warrior. Now, coming back into that awareness of the straight left leg, pressing through the little toe side of your left foot. And then just come on up and bring your hands to the mat. See if you can roll over your toes during your vinyasa. Now, when you get to your downward facing dog, really spread your hands nice and wide. Push those hips back. Just see if maybe while you press your heels down, you can lift your toes off the mat. And then let's step forward with the left foot. Spin your right heel flat before you come up. Look back at that right foot. Make sure it's angled. And then come on up into your warrior two. So you want to double check that you're not collapsing in on the big toe side of that right foot. Strongly push through the outside edge, right? The little toe side of your right foot. You should feel your outer right calf. So from here, easy side angle, left forearm to left thigh, right arm up and over, being very mindful of an active outer edge to the right foot. Come on up, straighten your left leg. Begin to lengthen your rib cage to the left. Again, if balance is an issue, have something nearby. I'd like you to try and lift all of your toes here, all 10 toes. Lengthen out a little more. Keep the legs very active here. And then go ahead and plant the toes and finish out your triangle pose. Come back up into your warrior two, bending that left knee, being very mindful of outer edge of right foot. Reverse your warrior. Come back up, and we're going to take the hands to the mat and flow through a vinyasa. Possibly rolling over toes if you feel like you can. So from this downward facing dog, one more time, spread those fingers wide. Press your hips up and back. Press your heels down. Try and lift your toes. So when tibialis, that's the front part of your shin, contracts, the calves have to release. Drop to your knees. Let's give the legs a break for a moment. Bring your hands directly under your shoulders. Spread your fingers and plant the palms as flat as you can comfortably get them. We're going to be circling our shoulders around our wrists. You'll notice this is a nice wrist and forearm stretch. Also helps with shoulder mobility. Change directions and go the other way. And then what I'd like you to do is go ahead. You can sit back a tiny bit on the heels. You don't have to sit all the way back if your knees don't like that. Slide your hands more towards you. Make sure the fingers are spread and the palms are flat. Elbows are going to stay very straight. You're only working at your own ability. Be mindful if you have wrist issues, you're going to start to let your torso move forward. So what you're basically doing is sharpening the angle at your wrist. You should feel this stretching on the palm side of your hand, the underside of your forearms. Take one more breath. And then let your body weight shift back. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to flip to the back of the hands. So what you want to do is shift your body weight forward, come onto the back of the hands. Your palms are facing up. And then you're just going to start to move your hips or your torso back. Now you're feeling this on the top side of your forearm, top side of the wrist, like the back of the hand side. Good. Come on up from that and just kind of shake your hands out, right? You can do little fingers, fists, whatever feels good. And then go ahead and bring your big toes together. You're on the top of the feet. If you can, slide your hands back towards your knees. And for just a moment, lift the knees. Again, do not have tension in your feet. Don't try and curl your toes or do anything crazy. You want the feet really relaxed so that you can stretch the top part out. Go ahead and put your knees back down. Tuck your toes under, big toes still touching, and sit back on the heels. And of course, be mindful of knee issues if you need to. And then to make it a little more exciting, we're just gonna let the big toes stay touching, but also have the heels touching. And sit back again. Shift back into your plank and take a vinyasa. In this downward facing dog, one more time, take your left foot stand on your right heel. Maybe raise the toes of the right foot while you're pressing on your right heel and pressing your hips back. Switch sides, left foot down. Right foot steps on left heel. Maybe you can lift your left toes. Move both feet down. Walk or jump your feet forward to your standing forward bend. And then inhale, raise the arms all the way up and overhead. Palms together in front of your hearts. Pardon me. So just playing a little bit more with calf and toe stretches before we sit down and make it a little more gentle and yummy. Your balancing today is going to be a little different. Your balancing is actually going to involve 2 legs, but there's still balance involved. So the first thing I'm going to have you do, feet completely together, they must touch. The first thing I would like for you to do is lift your heels. You're going to balance on your tiptoes. And not just barely lifting the heels, but lifting the heels as much as possible. And being mindful of where you put your weight. Do your feet want to rotate out towards the little toe? Can you push through the big toe side? Stay on your tippy toes and start to bend your knees, and they should be squeezing together. Do whatever you need to do with your arms, but keep your heels very strongly lifted. See if you can go ahead and take your bum all the way down. If you've got knee issues, you'll need to support your weight on the ground. Come all the way back up, heels flat. Shake your legs out a little bit. So here's where our balancing is going to come in. You're going to do the same thing if you can. Big toes must touch for this to work properly. Lift your heels. Let's start to just slowly sit down on them if possible. Remember, it's okay to support your weight on your hands. And then what I'd like you to do is take the knees wide. Soles of the feet are together. And if you can, this is where you balance. Palms come together. Knees are pressing out. Modify however you need to. Take 2 more breaths. And then go ahead and bring heels flat and come all the way up to standing. Good. So bring your feet back together at the front of the mat, palms together. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up. And then exhale back down. This will be your last vinyasa. So give it a shot to roll over the toes if you can. Really extend in your downward facing dog. Press those heels down. And then you can just come to a seated position with your legs extended. So this is where we're going to use our strap. I know you probably wondered what you were using your strap for. This is a gentler day, right? Kind of. So what I'm going to have you do is loop your feet. So we're in Dandasana. Loop your feet, but put the strap kind of at the ball of the feet. Instead of having it down at the arches, have the strap at the ball of the feet, right underneath your toes. Lift up, so a nice straight spine, Dandasana, right? So what we're going to do now is push through the ball of the foot. So you're providing resistance, right? You're having to actually work. Your calves are now working to point the toes.
Then we're gonna pull our feet back, 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 helping them dorsiflex. Now you should feel a big stretch in the calves. The front of your shin should be tightening. If you can see them, watch them. Push through the ball of the feet, right? Calves are tight, front of the shins are stretching, and now the opposite. Pull on your feet, calves are stretching, front of the shins are contracting. Do that one more time. Press, and then pull. And then release your strap for a moment. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your hands if you need to. In fact, let's go ahead and bring our palms together in front of our hearts. Lift your chest. Here's what I'd like you to do. Keep your palms together and begin to press them down, down, down towards your abdomen. Keeping palms together. Suddenly you're getting that nice inner wrist stretch again, right? And this all affects forearms, which is great. And while your hands are still down here, let's flip them, backs of the hands together. Keep them together and start to bring them back up towards your chest until you feel the top of your wrist, the top side of your forearm getting a good stretch. And then release. Wiggle the hands, wiggle the toes. So we're gonna keep the right leg straight. We're gonna bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. I want you to go ahead and lean out over your right leg. While you're leaning out now, if you can reach your right foot, I want you to actually apply pressure, strongly helping that right leg dorsiflex. So that means my toes and my foot are pulling back towards my shin. It's kind of like what we did at the beginning when I had you add a little bit of extra oomph to your calf stretch. Good. Come on up from that. Wiggle your right toes. Now we're going to pick the left foot up and bring it on top of the right thigh. So learning to really kind of get into calf muscles is actually critical for a couple of reasons. It's nice to be able to stretch or extend anytime we need to, but all of these lower leg muscles are super important for stabilizing the knee joint. So with your left foot on top of your right thigh where you can see everything, I want you to just slightly flex the left foot, not all the way. I want you to pull your big toe side of your foot in towards your calf. In other words, the baby toe side of the foot is pulling out. This is inversion. Now we're going to do the opposite. You're going to push the baby toe side of the foot in. Big toe side pulls away, eversion. You're hitting inner and outer part of the calf. So when we flex the big toe side of the foot closer in towards us, the soleus, the inner part of the calf, is contracting, and the outer part, peroneus, is stretching. Then let's do the opposite direction. Baby toe side of the foot pushes in. Now the peroneus is contracting and the soleus is stretching. Go ahead and release that. Wiggle the toes. Very sharply flex. Keep your left ankle on top of your right thigh and lean out again. Come on up from that. I want you to plant your left foot on the ground very strongly. So your right leg is going to stay straight. I want you to keep your right ankle and toes flexed. Now look at your left foot. Really strongly press through both sides of your left foot. Lift through your chest. Left hand behind you and come into a nice twist to the left. Extend your left leg out. Bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Lean out of your left leg. If you can get your hands to your left foot, strongly, strongly dorsiflex. And then come on up from that. We're going to pick the right ankle up and bring it on top of the left thigh. So again, kind of playing with inverting and everting the foot, or pronation and supination. So first we pull big toe side of the foot in, soleus contracts, peroneus stretches. So that means inner part of the calf is tightening, outer part of the calf is stretching. Switch that. Now you're pushing the little toe side of your foot in. So now the outer edge is contracting, inner edge is stretching. One more time in each direction. Just start playing with this. So it's really nice to know how each part of the body's movement affects each part of the musculature that is connected to it. Good. And then you can just wiggle the toes if you like. And I want you to bring your right foot all the way across. Actually, let's go ahead and lean out again. Almost forgot that. Keep your right ankle flexed. Lean out one more time. Give yourself that little bit of a right hip stretch before we twist. Right ankle is very strongly flexed. Take one more breath here. Come on up, slide the right foot all the way onto the floor. Make sure that big toe and little toe side of the foot are strongly connected. Left ankle is flexed. Right hand comes behind you and we're twisting to the right. Good. Extend your right leg out. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. Final thing we're going to do seated. I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. So a lot of times I have you have your hands behind you, just using outer hips, but we're going to do one last thing for the feet here. I want you to actually have your hands on your feet. So your forefingers are on the tops of the feet. Your thumbs are underneath the ball of each foot. Chest is lifted. You still want your knees to press out and down, but I want you to literally open the soles of your feet up, almost like you're opening the pages of a book. Really nice way to stretch the outer calf, peroneus, and it is the beginning of a yoga pose where you would actually put the soles of your feet on your stomach. We're not going to do that today, but this will give you the beginnings of it. Go ahead and release that, extend your legs, give them a good wiggle, make sure your strap is within reach, and then roll onto your back, hug your knees in, and rock side to side. I want you to go ahead and loop your right foot. Extend your left leg out onto the ground. I want your right leg completely straight. Doesn't matter if it's pointing at the ceiling, at the wall behind you, or at the wall in front of you. Right leg is completely straight. You want the strap right around the ball of the foot. Strongly flex your right ankle and toes and then pull on this strap. You should feel a really good calf stretch. You're pushing through the back of your right knee. You're pulling on the ball of your right foot with the strap. Now go ahead and push. You'll feel your calf contract. Pull on the strap. You'll feel it stretch. Do that one more time. Press through the ball of the foot, kind of like you're pushing on the gas. And then pull on the ball of the foot, keeping the leg straight. Go ahead and release. Hug your right knee in. Just rotate into a nice spinal twist. Right leg across the body, head turning to the right. Right arm opening out. Come back up, hug your right knee in. You can put your right foot on the ground. We're going to loop the left foot right around the ball of the foot. Extend the right leg all the way out onto the mat. Make sure your left leg is totally straight. It doesn't matter what direction it's pointing, it just needs to be straight. Then flex the ankle and toes of your left foot and gently apply pressure from your strap. Your left leg is straight. You're basically pulling straight down or back towards your hips, if that helps you. We're trying to find crazy good calf stretch on the left side. Then we're going to push through the ball of the foot. That left calf tightens. And then we're going to pull on the foot again to stretch the calf. One more time, press and pull.
Go ahead and remove your strap, hug your left knee in, and transition into a twist to the right. Left arm opening out, head turning to the left. Bring your left knee back up, hug it in, hug the right knee in, rock side to side. Reach down and grab your feet and happy baby. But maybe be mindful of the feet. Maybe while you're wiggling your legs around, maybe you're gently pressing on the toes or stretching them back. I want you to just be mindful of your feet. So, we're always talking about how the core is so important. Everything originates from there. Well, our extremities are how we get our core from one place to another. So it's really important for us to occasionally pay attention to our foundation, our feet, and what goes on from there, the ankles, and then the calves, which help us ambulate and walk. And then our thighs, which are also so instrumental in keeping us upright, along with the glutes. The whole package is important, right? So in our yoga practice, it's good to remind us that every part matters. Fingers, toes, hands, feet, arms, legs, as well as the core and the head, of course. From here, bring your feet flat. Allow the knees to drop open. We're back in Supta Baddha Konasana. Let's just lengthen the low back and make sure everything's comfortable there. So you're going to inhale, press the low back into the mat. And then exhale and release. Do that one more time. Inhale, flatten your back, press it. And then exhale and release. Extend your legs. I suggest once you get your legs extended and separated today, really spread your fingers and toes, kind of like we do at the end, and then wiggle them, and then relax them. So toes, feet, calves, thighs, glutes, hips, all relaxed. Fingers, hands, forearms, upper arms, shoulders, all relaxed. Abdomen is soft, back is long. Jaw is relaxed, eyes are closed. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale through the mouth. And just feel your body softening into the mat. Noticing what it feels like this morning to have had a different type of practice. So maybe not the semi-sweaty vinyasa that you're used to. And yet, perhaps, hopefully, sensation of being very alive. So the thing that we frequently forget is that our extremities, our hands and our feet, are how we most connect with the external environment. We touch with our hands and our fingers, and we connect to the earth with our feet. It's our first point of interaction with the world around us. Yoga brings energy in to the parts that we focus on. We want energy in the parts that we use to connect with others and the world around us. So for just these next few moments of stillness and silence, keep your awareness, if possible, in your hands and feet. Feel the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Feel the backs of the hands and the tops of the feet. Just be very conscious of your extremities.
So just beginning to slowly feel back into your body, working your way towards the center from the hands and feet where you've had your focus, feeling the arms and the legs, feeling how everything does connect and join at your torso, feeling into your neck and the head, just becoming very conscious of your entire body. Notice any thoughts you might be having. Notice any emotions that might be accompanying your thoughts. Notice what your energy feels like right now. And notice your sense of connection. So again, our feet are what connect us to this beautiful planet that we live on, and our hands are what connect us to the entire outside world, including each other. It's how we touch each other. Notice if you feel a little more connected. And then you can begin to deepen your breath and move those fingers and toes a little bit. Taking an extra deep inhale to spread the fingers and toes. Exhaling to relax them. Even deeper breath in, stretching through the arms and legs. Exhaling and relaxing. Bend your knees. Hug them in. Roll to your right. And then press yourself up into sitting. So as you come to your nice straight spine, just kind of notice how your feet in the position that you're sitting in, if you're cross-legged or whatever, notice how they automatically kind of rotate in to allow the knees to drop down. Or if your legs are extended, maybe the feet are rotating out. Just kind of notice what your legs and your feet are doing. Notice that nice straight spine with relaxed shoulders. And then we're going to use our hands today for our breath work. So Viloma Pranayama, segmented breath. As you know, I usually invite you to do the mudras. Today, it would be particularly nice if you did that to keep that energy in the hands. And so with each sniff in, and there are 4 sniffs, we touch each of the fingertips to the thumb. And so you might be a little more particular about that today, applying about 2 pounds of pressure. So it's not a very delicate touch, but you're not squeezing either. About 2 pounds of pressure to each fingertip. This is actually incredibly important with our neural pathways, neuroplasticity. So all of this is connected and related. As you know, we as creatures are completely connected, and we're connected to each other in the world around us. So everything good that we do for ourselves, we're doing for the whole. So we're going to be inhaling through the nose, 4 sniffs, touching each of the fingertips with each sniff. And then when you exhale, I would love for you to really strongly spread and extend the hands and fingers. That'll be a long, slow exhale through the mouth. All right, nice straight spine. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. Just take a nice, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Slow exhale through the mouth. And begin 4 sniffs. Slow exhale through the mouth, spread the palms. Four sniffs. Exhale. Inhaling 4. Exhale. Last time. And exhale. Just allow the hands to relax. Just pause for a moment here, letting your breath return to normal. Taking one more opportunity to check in with how you feel. And we're going to slowly bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart and just pause for a moment, feeling the connection of the palms of your hands each knuckle of each finger connecting to the opposite side. Feel the energy, feel that true sense of connection. You have this beautiful sense of touch. You have this beautiful exchange of energy, which when we do this with ourselves, it's like we're completing a circuit. Just pause for a moment with your palms in together in front of your heart in gratitude that we can ground literally to the earth through our feet, that we can connect to ourselves, to each other, to the world around us, and to something larger through our hands, and literally through our entire bodies and our energy, which we share. Take one more huge breath in through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. We bring our palms together at our foreheads. This reminds us to be present, to pay attention. We bring our palms together in front of our lips, and it reminds us to speak our truth. We bring our palms together in front of our hearts, and it reminds us to keep our hearts open so that we can be connected, so that we can practice kindness, compassion, and unconditional love. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Namaste.